When I turned 60 years old, something changed in my body. My knees, which had always carried me through long walks and days of work, started to complain. At first, it was just a light pain when going upstairs, then a crunching sound every time I got up from a chair. Over time, the pain became more frequent, and I stopped doing things I used to enjoy. I stopped going out for walks with my friends. I stopped playing on the floor with my grandchildren. I stopped going up and down the stairs in my house the way I used to. Little by little, my world became smaller. I did what most people would do. I went to the doctor. They gave me painkillers, anti-inflammatories, and the typical recommendation to not overstrain the joint. That helped for a few days, but then the pain came back. Every appointment was the same: more pills, more rest, less movement. No one talked to me about another option. No one explained that inside my knees there was something that could be regenerated. A few years went by before I heard for the first time that there was a specific type of collagen, very different from the kind we see in skin creams, that could help rebuild the cartilage in the joints from the inside. At first, I did not believe it. I thought it was just another trendy supplement, but the science behind this type of collagen surprised me, and the results in people like me convinced me to try it. Today, I want to share with you everything I learned about collagen, especially the type that helps knees regain mobility and strength. We are going to talk about how it works in the body, in which foods you can find it, which supplements are worth it and which are not, and above all, which mistakes you must avoid if you truly want to regenerate your joints. If you suffer from knee pain, stiffness when you stand up, or fear that your mobility will get worse with the years, stay with me until the end. What I'm going to tell you could save you years of suffering and give you back the freedom of movement you thought was lost. And before we begin, I would love to get to know you a little better. Tell me in the comments how old you are and where you are watching from. That way, we can create a community of people who support each other on this path toward a more active and pain-free life. How your knees age. Before talking about solutions, we have to understand what is happening inside our knees. When we think about this joint, we usually picture only the bones, but in reality, it is a very complex system. The knee is formed by the femur, the tibia, and the kneecap, which articulate thanks to structures such as cartilage, the menisci, and the synovial fluid. Cartilage is like a soft but resistant cushion that prevents the bones from rubbing against each other. The menisci work like shock absorbers that distribute the weight when we walk or run. And the synovial fluid is like the oil in an engine. It keeps everything lubricated and allows movement to be smooth and pain-free. As the years go by, this whole system starts to change. The natural production of collagen, which is the protein that makes up a large part of the cartilage, begins to decrease. This loss is gradual, but very significant after 50 years of age. The cartilage becomes thinner, loses elasticity, and no longer recovers as quickly from the small daily damages. The menisci also become more fragile, and the synovial fluid decreases or becomes less efficient. The result is that every step, every twist, every effort starts to wear down the joint more than it regenerates it. To explain it in simple terms, think of a car engine. When it is new, the oil is clean, the parts are intact, and everything runs smoothly. With time, if you do not maintain it, the oil gets dirty, the parts wear out, and the engine starts making noises. The same thing happens with your knees. The oil in your joints becomes scarcer, the shock absorber gets thinner, and clicks, stiffness, and pain begin to appear. I remember the story of Henry, a 74-year-old man I met in a rehabilitation center. He used to walk 5 kilometers every day without any problem. It was his favorite routine, his way of clearing his mind. Little by little, he began to feel a pain he described as a stabbing sensation right on the inner side of his knee. At first, he ignored it. Then he started to reduce the distance of his walks. And finally, one day he realized that climbing the stairs in his house was too hard for him. He ended up using the elevator to avoid the pain. What started as a mild discomfort led him to stop doing what made him happy, and that also affected his mood. The most important thing you must understand is that this process is neither sudden nor absolutely inevitable. It does not happen from one day to the next. It is the result of years of micro-wear. That is why the earlier you act, the better results you can achieve. Paying attention to early signs, crunching sounds, morning stiffness, pain after moderate effort, is the first key to slowing down the damage and beginning to regenerate the joint. Common myths about knee pain. One of the biggest obstacles to restoring knee health is not the pain itself, but the beliefs we have about it. Many of these ideas are so deeply rooted that people accept them as absolute truths. Today I want to break down some of the most common myths that I have heard again and again, even from people very close to me. The first myth is thinking that knee pain is simply something normal for your age and that there is nothing you can do. I hear many people say, "I am already over 60, of course my knees hurt." Yes, it is true that with age the joints go through changes, but that does not mean you must resign yourself to living with pain. Pain is a signal, not an unavoidable punishment. If the body is screaming, it is because it needs attention, and it can improve if we give it what it is lacking. I know people over 80 years old who walk without pain because they have taken care of their bodies and taken steps to regenerate their joints. The second myth is believing that the only way to get better is to stop moving. How many times have we heard, "If your knees hurt, stay in bed or rest as much as possible"? Of course, in an acute moment of inflammation it may be necessary to rest, but prolonged absolute rest is one of the worst decisions. When you stop using your muscles and joints, they become even weaker. Cartilage receives less nourishment and stiffness increases. It is like leaving a car parked for months. When you use it again, everything is stuck. Gentle, controlled movement is part of the solution because it stimulates circulation, carries nutrients to the cartilage, and keeps the joint functional. The third myth is thinking that pills are the only way out. Painkillers and anti-inflammatories can be useful to control pain in the short term, but they do not regenerate cartilage or restore the joint. It is like putting a bandage on a deep wound without treating what caused it. If you rely only on medication, the pain will come back again and again, and over time you will need higher doses or stronger drugs, which can affect the stomach, the liver, and other organs. The real solution lies in addressing the problem at its root, helping the body repair what has been damaged. The most important thing is to understand that there is hope. For years, we have been led to believe that joint wear is irreversible, but today we know there are ways to stimulate collagen production, reduce inflammation naturally, and regain much of our mobility. This is not about promising miracles, but about giving the body the resources it needs to heal. And that is exactly what we will see in the next part. What collagen is, why it is so important, and how it can become your best ally to regain strong, stable knees. What collagen is, and why it is so important to understand why collagen is so crucial. Imagine your body as a building. Each bone is a column, the tendons and ligaments are the cables that hold the structure, and collagen is the cement that keeps everything together. Collagen is a structural protein found in the skin, bones, cartilage, tendons, and even in blood vessels. It represents about 1/3 of all the protein in your body. Without it, we would be fragile, and our joints could not withstand daily movement. There are several types of collagen, but the most important for us are 3. Type 1 is the most abundant and is found mainly in the skin, bones, and tendons. It is the one that keeps the skin firm and the bones strong. Type 3 is present in the skin and blood vessels, helping to keep them elastic and healthy. But when we talk about joints, the main character is type 2 collagen. This type is found almost exclusively in the cartilage that covers the joints. It is what gives cartilage that smooth, slippery texture that allows the femur and tibia to move without friction. Our body naturally produces collagen, using amino acids that we obtain from food, along with vitamins and minerals such as vitamin C, zinc, and copper. However, as we age, this production decreases. After 30 years of age, we produce less collagen each year, and this decline accelerates after 50. In addition, factors such as a poor diet, stress, excess sugar, smoking, and lack of sleep can further reduce its production. That is why with age, we start to notice wrinkles on the skin, loss of firmness, and, most relevant to this topic, increased joint pain and stiffness. The importance of collagen is not only in keeping your knees pain-free, but in preserving mobility, Independence and quality of life. When cartilage thins and breaks, the bones begin to rub against each other, which generates inflammation and chronic pain. Regenerating or protecting that cartilage is essential to prevent the situation from progressing to severe osteoarthritis or the need for a prosthesis. This is where type 2 collagen comes into play, which can become a silent but powerful ally to keep your joints younger for longer. Natural sources of collagen. Before talking about supplements, the first thing is to understand that your body can obtain and produce collagen naturally if you give it the right materials. One of the best ways to get it is through bone broths. When you slowly boil beef, chicken, or fish bones for several hours, the minerals and collagen from those bones pass into the water, forming a natural gelatin when it cools. This gelatin is rich in collagen and essential amino acids. Drinking a cup of bone broth several times a week is a simple and inexpensive way to nourish your joints from the inside. Another very useful food is chicken or fish cartilage. Maybe as a child you were told that eating the soft parts of the chicken was strange, but in reality, those parts are the ones that provide the most collagen. When you prepare soups or stews, make use of chicken feet, necks, and wings, which have a higher cartilage content. If you prefer something sweet, natural sugar-free gelatin desserts are also an option. The important thing is that they are made with pure gelatin and not with industrial mixes full of colorings and sugar. These gelatins provide collagen in a form that is easy to consume, even for those who have dental or chewing problems. But it is not enough to consume collagen. Your body needs cofactors to be able to use it properly. Vitamin C is indispensable for collagen synthesis. That is why it is advisable to include citrus fruits, kiwi fruit, strawberries, or bell peppers in your daily diet. Zinc and copper are also necessary for the enzymes that build collagen. You can get zinc from pumpkin seeds, nuts, shellfish, and legumes, and copper from foods such as pure cocoa, almonds, and mushrooms. Maintaining a varied diet rich in these nutrients will help the collagen you consume turn into useful tissue for your knees. A practical tip is to prepare a large pot of bone broth once a week and store it in portions in the refrigerator or freezer. That way you will always have a nutritious base ready for soups or to drink hot as if it were tea. Another idea is to add a tablespoon of unflavored gelatin to your coffee or tea in the morning. It is colorless and gives you an extra dose of collagen without altering the taste. Small habits like these, maintained consistently, can make a difference in your joint health in the long term. Collagen supplements, how to choose the right one. Although good nutrition is essential, many times it is not enough to reverse the accumulated damage in the knees, especially if there is already pain or visible wear in imaging studies. This is where collagen supplements can be very helpful. However, not all products are the same, and choosing the right one can be confusing if you do not know what to look for. The first thing is to understand that there are two main forms: hydrolyzed collagen and undenatured type 2 collagen. Hydrolyzed collagen is pre-digested, meaning it has been broken down into smaller fragments called peptides, which makes it easier to absorb. It is good for the health of the skin, hair, and nails, and it can also contribute to the general health of the joints. However, if your main goal is to regenerate cartilage, the one that has shown the best results is undenatured type 2 collagen, the one we talked about in the previous section, because it acts directly on the immune system and joint inflammation. Dosage is another critical point. Many supplements on the market contain very low doses of collagen just so they can put it on the label, but they do not reach the amount needed to create real changes. Look for products that clearly indicate the amount of collagen per serving and that have clinical studies backing them up. For hydrolyzed collagen, effective doses are usually in the range of several grams per day, while undenatured type 2 collagen requires much smaller doses on the order of a few milligrams, but it must be taken consistently to maintain its effect. Another sign of quality is purity. Avoid products that contain unnecessary fillers, added sugars, artificial colorings, or overly processed flavors. A good supplement should be as simple as possible. It is also important to consider the form. Unflavored powders are often more versatile because they can be added to drinks or foods without changing the taste, while capsules are more convenient for those who do not want to prepare mixtures. Finally, consistency is the key. Taking collagen one day and then skipping 3 will not do much. It is a cumulative process that can take several weeks to show results. The ideal is to set a fixed schedule, for example on an empty stomach in the morning or before bed, so you do not forget. Think of the supplement as preventive maintenance for your knees. The more disciplined you are, the better your results will be. Mistakes that block cartilage regeneration. Many people start taking collagen or improving their diet and get frustrated when they do not see quick results. In many cases, it is not that the collagen does not work, but that there are daily habits that block or slow down its effect. To regenerate cartilage, it is not enough to add what is right, you also have to remove what destroys it. One of the main enemies is an inflammatory diet. Excessive consumption of refined sugars, white flours, and ultra-processed foods causes chronic inflammation in the body. This inflammation does not always show up as fever or sharp pain, but it acts silently, damaging the joints and degrading the cartilage. Soft drinks, cookies, fried snacks, and processed meats are examples of foods that promote this inflammatory state. If you keep eating them every day, no matter how much collagen you take, your body will remain in a state that prevents repair. Lack of movement is another common mistake. Many people think they should take care of themselves by stopping walking or exercising to avoid pain. The problem is that the joint needs movement to be nourished. Every time you bend your knee, the synovial fluid circulates and carries nutrients to the cartilage. If you spend most of the day sitting, the knee becomes stiff and the cartilage deteriorates faster. Excess body weight also plays an important role. Every extra kilo you carry puts several times more pressure on your knees. This speeds up wear and creates micro-injuries that later cause pain. Chronic stress is another less obvious but equally important factor. When you live in a constant state of worry, your body produces more cortisol, the stress hormone. Excess cortisol interferes with tissue repair and increases inflammation. It is as if the body stays in alert mode and puts maintenance and regeneration tasks in the background. Practicing relaxation techniques, deep breathing, or meditation can help reduce this effect and support recovery. Finally, excessive consumption of alcohol and tobacco is especially harmful. Alcohol makes it harder to absorb nutrients and dehydrates tissues, while tobacco reduces blood flow to the joints, limiting the supply of oxygen and nutrients. If you truly want to give your body a chance to regenerate, reducing or eliminating these habits is essential. Think of collagen as an investment. For it to pay off, you must create a favorable environment in your body. Exercises that boost the effect of collagen. One of the most effective ways to make the most of the collagen you consume is to combine it with exercise. Movement not only keeps your joints lubricated, but it also stimulates the body to produce more collagen naturally. Of course, this is not about doing just any type of exercise, but about choosing those that protect your knees and strengthen the muscles around them. Low-impact exercises are ideal to start with. Swimming is one of the best options because the water supports a large part of your body weight and reduces pressure on the knees. A stationary bike is also excellent for improving mobility without subjecting the joint to strong impacts. Even gentle walks of 15 to 20 minutes a day can make a difference if you do them consistently. The important thing is to avoid activities that create repeated impact, such as running on hard surfaces, jumping, or lifting excessive weight. Strengthening the muscles is another key point. The quadriceps, which are the muscles on the front of your thighs, act as support for the knee. When they are strong, they absorb part of the impact and reduce the load on the cartilage. Simple exercises such as seated knee extensions, partial squats without going too low, or even squeezing a pillow between your knees while sitting can help reinforce these muscles. Do not forget to work your glutes and hip muscles as well, since they stabilize the pelvis and improve leg alignment. A simple routine you can do at home is the following. Start with 5 minutes of warm-up, walking in place or gently moving your joints. Then, do 3 sets of 10 repetitions of seated knee extensions, 3 sets of partial squats using a chair for support, and finish with gentle stretches for your legs and hips. This routine should not cause pain. If it hurts, reduce the intensity or consult a physical therapist. Consistency is the key. A little every day is better than one very intense session once a week. Combining regular exercise with collagen and good nutrition is like giving your body a triple boost toward recovery. You will not only feel less pain, but you will gain strength, balance, and confidence in your movements, which will allow you to enjoy activities you may have given up. Sometimes the best motivation is hearing from others who have already walked this path. I want to share with you some stories that have inspired me and that show what is possible when we combine the right information, consistency, and hope. I remember the case of Rose, 72 years old. She had spent almost a year without leaving her house because the pain in her knees was so intense that she could barely walk to the kitchen. Her daughter brought her bone broth every week. She started taking type 2 collagen every morning, and little by little she added simple exercises while sitting in a chair. At first, it was hard. Every movement cost her effort, but she stayed consistent. After 3 months, she could walk down the hallway of her house without stopping, and after 6 months, she went back out to the neighborhood square. The first time she sat on a park bench again and felt the sun on her face, she cried with joy. "I did not think I would be able to dance with my grandchildren again," she told me with a huge smile. Another example is Michael, a 79-year-old man who had stopped tending his garden because pain in his knees kept him from bending down. His doctor recommended surgery, but he wanted to try a natural approach before taking that step. He adjusted his diet, eliminated ultra-processed foods, and started using a stationary bike for 15 minutes a day. He also added good quality collagen supplements. After several months of discipline, he not only reduced his pain but also lost weight, which further relieved his knees. Now he spends hours again among his plants and says that has given him back his zest for life. These stories are not isolated cases or miracles. They are the result of combining good information, healthy habits, and perseverance. Every body is different, but we all have the ability to improve if we stop sabotaging ourselves and start giving our organism what it needs. If they could do it, you can too. Many people have doubts before starting to take collagen or changing their lifestyle. Here, I want to answer the most common questions in a simple way. How long does it take before you see the effect? The answer depends on each person and the level of wear. Some people feel improvement in a few weeks, while others need several months to notice changes. Cartilage regeneration is a slow process, so consistency is the key. Think of it like planting a tree. You do not see fruit immediately, but every day of care counts. Can I combine collagen with medications? In most cases, yes. Collagen is a natural supplement and usually does not interfere with medical treatments. Even so, it is always advisable to mention it to your doctor, especially if you take blood thinners or have a chronic condition. What happens if I stop taking it? If you stop taking it for a few days, nothing serious happens. But if you quit completely, the benefits will gradually decrease and the wear process will start advancing again. Keeping a regular intake is essential to sustain the results. Is it safe for everyone? In general, collagen is safe for most people. Only those who have specific allergies to the source of the supplement, for example, fish collagen, should seek alternatives. For pregnant or breastfeeding women or people with serious illnesses, it is best to consult a health professional first. We have covered a long journey in this video. We talked about how knees age, the myths that make us believe there is no solution, what collagen is and why type 2 is so important, which foods and supplements can help you, which mistakes block regeneration, and which exercises boost recovery. We even looked at stories of people who managed to improve their mobility and quality of life. I want you to hold on to one clear idea. Your age does not define your mobility. Your decisions do. It does not matter if you are 60, 70, or 80 years old, there's always something you can do to improve. This is not about promising miracles, but about taking control of what actually depends on you. Your body has an amazing capacity to repair itself if you give it the right environment and nourish it properly. My invitation is simple. Start today. Choose one small change in your diet. Try a quality supplement. Do one simple exercise every day. Those steps, added up over time, can give you back the freedom of movement you value so much. I would love for you to share in the comments your age and where you are watching from, and whether you have already tried any of these strategies. That way we can create a community of people who encourage each other to live without pain and with more energy. Remember, it is not too late to begin. Your knees have carried you all your life, and they can still give you many more years of movement if you give them the care they deserve. Start today and give yourself a future with more freedom and less pain.